Okay, everybody, Dr. Jackson's back again, talking to some amazing people. And I've known Sharon Lane for like almost 2 decades now. She asked me to edit a documentary that she was doing, and we did it, and it got screened in Langston. One of the first things I ever done in video, really. But today, she's got another story, and I just saw it on the news, and it's pretty, I think it's traumatic. I can't believe it's still happening in 2020. People going around doing this stuff. But I'm gonna let Sharon tell the story. So go ahead, Sharon. What happened?
Just to collaborate and stay focused on the Microsoft campus. So I was dispatched from my union to do a job there for Skanska back in 2021. And one day at the job, I stumbled on what you call nooses, 3 or 4 of them tied up. Before that particular day, it was rumors going around that African Americans was getting vandalized. So, I'm already familiarized with all the racism and discrimination that goes on in that industry because of the 14 years I've been in it. And so just this particular time, when I stumbled up on those nooses, which that's not the first time I stumbled upon nooses working for a construction company. I think this was the year Michael Jackson had passed away. As I can remember, I was working for Selling Construction. Same scenario. There was nooses tied up. So anyways, back to Microsoft, when I seen those nooses, I instantly pictures. And so I went to go look for my foreman, which I didn't find at that time. So there was another foreman by the name of Anthony, I won't say his last name, a black guy. I showed him the pictures. And he told me that I need to take that to my boss. Well, I didn't see my boss no more that day. So when I got home, I showed it to my mom. And that very next day, it was on the news that morning that another guy that worked for Microsoft had filed a discrimination case against his company working out there at Microsoft. And so my mom told me that I need to try to get a hold of that attorney. I tried, no success. And a few weeks later, the guy Anthony had called me if I still had those pictures and said that he would put me in contact with that attorney. And so I hired him. And here we are today. They just did a news clipping on me Friday in regards to another guy out there found nooses tied up with his name actually on the noose.
That's the story I heard about. I mean, we have 2022, and you go into work in construction, and you're finding a noose with your name on it. That's outrageous. And so, of course, they can't do fingerprint checks, right? And there's video all over the place, surveillance video, right? You would think that there'd be some kind of indication that they could see who was in there doing it, right? I mean, isn't there some kind of video that's back on those construction sites, especially in the meeting rooms? So,
well, when the project is just starting off, there's no video,
right?
And that's when you see a lot of this stuff goes on because there is no videos.
Okay, so they're breaking the ground, getting everything positioned correctly so the buses or trucks can come in, things like that. So yeah, there isn't the opportunity to install fiber or cables and to capture video.
Right, so, exactly. Yeah, they don't know who's doing it, but someone, me personally, I think it's the older generation that's doing this. I mean, I could be wrong because the older generation could be teaching this to the newer generation. I don't know, but it's happening in the construction industry out here in Washington, big time.
Washington State. So how long have you been in the construction industry? You mentioned 17 years.
14 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're a flag waver? You do the traffic signals, and what is your position?
My position is, I started off as a flagger. I went from a flagger to being a laborer, from a laborer to being a traffic control supervisor.
Okay. So tell us more how you're able to do those raises or increases. Do you take classes to become certified in those positions, or just the fact you were there for so long?
No, you have to. Okay, so here's the thing. So technically, you're supposed to take take classes. Excuse me. you're supposed to take classes, right? So from my knowledge, every Black person I know, we have actually taken classes for all those trades, right? But then you have the white Caucasian people that come in, they don't take no classes. They learn from either their brother who's been in the trade for years or the father. And how I know this is because I know people that has been in this trade for years, and they have told me that you see that person there, that person over there, they didn't take no classes to learn how to drive that forklift. They didn't take no class. They was taught at home. But then they come on these jobs and get these jobs just like that. Half of them people that's in the white people that's in the construction industry right now, they're not even registered with the union. That's how bad it is.
How can
And
that
that's
be?
how, you know,
I thought you had to be certified to be able to drive the tractor, drive the forklift, and be part of the union to do that.
You're supposed to be you're supposed to be certified. You're supposed to be certified, even operating the towers, you know, the big cranes. You're supposed to be certified to do that. They just now making it a law because one of those cranes had collapsed. They just now making it a law that all the crane operators have to be certified. Years ago, maybe 5-10 years ago, all them crane operators was not certified.
Wow. So I'm talking to Sharon Lane here, who had a racist incident happen to her. She found nooses in her construction site. And so we're just talking about what's going on. And so I remember the crane falling in Seattle because they're blaming it on the wind. But the fact that, yeah, they have to get certified now to operate those things, it makes sense because it's life or death. You got thousands of pounds in space. And so, yeah, okay. All right. So a couple of years ago, I saw this documentary called Sister in the Brotherhood. It was about an African-American female who was doing construction, and all of her white counterparts were getting passes over her, even though she was saving the behind of the people on their jobs because they were doing, you know, they were cutting corners and not doing the proper procedures. And so, yeah, that video came out of Oregon State. And so I think the professor was still down there. And so that's somebody else I'll hook it with. And so, okay. So what's the next step, Karen? You got your lawyers, you're going to file a lawsuit. Maybe, you know, you're going to definitely take it to the media. You've been on Cover 7, I think it was. What we're going to do is take you over to Tony Benton and World Radio and Converge Media. And there's about 3 or 4 other people that, not that I personally know, but we can get your story shared out there too. Because this is 2022, finding nooses on your job, and then you're not the only person. You said there are 3 others. So I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's really sad, you know, in this daytime and age. This should not be happening. That's, you know, that's my take on it. Because at the end of the day, we all just trying to have a, you know, a normal, good living.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just don't make no sense. And that Microsoft project is over $1 billion project.
Wow.
And I just heard Joe Biden say that he was putting like over $1 trillion in infrastructure. A lot of that infrastructure money is right here in Washington. If you walk out on a lot of these construction site jobs that's going on right now, I guarantee you can count on your hand how many Blacks is out there. That's how bad it is.
I know here in Tacoma, they're doing light rail to the Hilltop. Hilltop is a traditionally African-American community. And so we talk about, you know, being able to still have your business open while they ripped up the roads and the sidewalks and everything. And so, yeah. Now in Seattle, I know we just had another mayor election, and there's a brother that's now the mayor of Seattle. Bruce Harold, is that right?
What's his name?
Bruce. I'm gonna say Bruce Harold is the new mayor of Seattle.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Okay. And we have a sister who's the mayor of Tacoma, Victoria Woodard, I think her name is. And so
yeah, I heard him. I've seen her.
Okay. So yeah, we definitely need to get this news out there. And so, any final words you want to share?
Just basically, you know, it needs to be a change. Something has to happen in order for this to stop. Like, this needs to stop, because as an African American, especially a female, you know, we're not out on these jobs trying to harm anybody or hurt anybody or make someone lose their job. We're just basically there trying to make a living. And I just feel like, you know, something needs to be done to the point where if it has to go to Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, whomever, Ab Sharpner, whoever we need to bring aboard to make this stuff stop, because it just don't make any sense.
That is true. That is true. And I mentioned two other names, Karen Hunter and Dr. Greg Carr are two people. Every Saturday they do this YouTube thing called In Class with Carr. Dr. Greg Carr is the head of African Studies at Howard University, and Karen Hunter is a publicist. She's on Sirius Radio, and so she's somebody that is powerful and knowledgeable, and somebody that we can also bring in to the conversation. So Sharon, I appreciate your time today. I pray for you, and we're going to take care of this. We're going to get it done.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul.
You're welcome.